Hello fellow human, welcome back to another Dank Doggo / ChoosingBeggar videos. Have you ever encountered a robber or someone trying to break into your home before? The first story by Dark Crystal 93. CB couples breaks into my backyard on 2 separate occasions. So this is a story that involves a CB couple with an incident involving them individually a week apart. It was mid-morning and I had just woken up to start getting ready for work. Got my cup of tea, booted up my Xbox so I can listen to Reddit stories on YouTube as I took my sweet time waking up. I was halfway through my first cuppa when I started hearing an odd grunting coming from my backyard. I quickly rolled up my blinds, one of my bedroom window faces my backyard, to see a random guy trying to unscrew or pry the lock off the garage door. I instantly called the police, telling them that someone was attempting to break into my garage. A few minutes later, the cops arrived and approached the man as he was still trying to get into my garage. I had my window open so I can communicate with them while remaining safe in my house, as one of the cops suggested, in case the man became hostile. Because they recognize him to be one of the homeless people that is constantly in and out of jail. The exchange went as such. Cop 1, C1. Hey buddy, cop knew him by the name. Can you put down the screwdriver real quick and come talk with me over here? Homeless dude, HD. Oh hi officer, name? Long time no see, how's it hanging? C1. I'm fine, would you mind telling me why are you trespassing on this woman's property and trying to break into her garage? Do not tell me that you didn't see no trespassing sign on the gate. Homeless dude. Oh no, I saw the sign, but I need to get my stuff out. The guy had made a small hole at the bottom of a wall to stash his drugs in my garage the week prior when I was at work late, and now couldn't retrieve them because he couldn't reach them. So naturally, he had to bust the lock to get in. Cop 2 got the keys for me so they can confiscate the drugs as C1 placed the man in cuffs and asked him why he thought that was a good idea. HD looked him straight in the eyes and said, "Well, I knocked on the door and no one answered." Cop 1 just shook his head and put the homeless dude in the back of his squad car, made his report, and made sure I was okay, and left me to continue getting ready for work. The story is done, right? Nope. A week later, I had a day off and was fixing some shelves in my kitchen when I hear my dogs going nuts in the backyard. I had the door open because I was home and thought it would be nice for puppers to be able to run in and out as they pleased, plus it was a nice day for Texas in June. I ignored it at first, thinking that they were barking at my neighbor's German Shepherd since I heard him barking as well. When I suddenly hear a woman yelling at my dogs to shut the hell up, I stop what I'm doing and run back to my back door to see what was going on since I didn't recognize the voice as any of my neighbors. Turns out my dog is barking at a woman, HW for a homeless woman, that was currently wheeling her broken bike in my backyard. I look at my open gate behind her and see the lock cut in the ground. I put a new lock on the gate after the homeless dude. I promptly ask who the hell she was and what in her right mind gave her the idea that she can come in my backyard like she owned it. Homeless woman, can you put your ducking dogs up before they can attack me? I have 2 adorable floppy ear basset hounds that are most likely to kiss you to death. Me, my dogs are full in their right to be in their backyard and bark at a stranger that is trespassing. Homeless woman, whatever, my boyfriend left some stuff here so I came to get it. I was confused, excuse me? She huffed, my boyfriend is in jail now and asked me to get the stuff he left in the garage. It dawned on me, she was the homeless dude's girlfriend. Clearly, when he spoke with her, he forgot that the cops have already removed whatever he had stashed when they arrested him. I informed her about the events and told her she needs to leave before I called the cops on her next for trespassing. She was oddly calm out of nowhere. Homeless woman, okay, but first do you have a pair of shoes I can use? Mine broke because my bike doesn't have brakes and I literally almost died. She held up a broken pair of flip-flops. I was beyond pissed at this point, and it was in utter shock at her she could ask a ridiculous question. No, I snapped. You break into my backyard, tell me to put my dogs up. Your boyfriend not only created a hole in my garage wall that I had to fix because he stashed his drugs on my property. Now you think I'm just going to give you a pair of my shoes because your dumb butt wore a flip-flops while riding a bike? Homeless woman, Well, you don't have to be a tramp about it. Besides, my boyfriend is in jail because of you, and you owe me. Also, I have epilepsy, so you have to let me sit here for 5 minutes because I almost died riding my bike that has no brakes. I doubt that she actually had epilepsy. I had enough and called the officer that arrested HD. He had given his number in case one of HD's friends came around. Boy, he called it. As soon as she heard me put Cop 1 on speaker, she takes off running out of my yard and down to the street. I give a description of her, so an official report is given. I have since replaced a new lock on my gate and added a second lock on my garage door. It just boggles my mind, the logic of some people have to think that they can do what they want. Well, you're really lucky that the drugs were found under these circumstances because who on earth would believe that a homeless guy planted a drug stash inside your house without you knowing anything about it? We have here the second story written by u/SavvyBoss234. You getting money for your birthday means you're obligated to buy things for me. This happened to me a while back. I decided to go to the mall with one of my guy friends so we can hang out. Everything seems normal at first until my friend asked me to buy him something at the store. It wasn't very pricey, only like $5, so I agreed to buy it for him. After I bought him the item, he and I kept going into other stores, and he would keep asking me to buy him things. I obviously started to get irritated by this and kept telling him no. After we did some more browsing in the stores, we decided to buy some Starbucks before heading back home. I had gotten $25 Starbucks gift card for my birthday, so I told him that it would be my treat. While we were walking over to Starbucks, my friend saw a Häagen-Dazs opened in the food court. He said that he wanted to get something from there instead, and I didn't have a problem with that. But I made it clear to him that if he got Häagen-Dazs instead, I could be paying for him since I wanted Starbucks, and only had the gift card valid there. He didn't say anything back to me and rushed over to Häagen-Dazs. I followed him and saw him order an ice cream. When the employees finished making his ice creams, they gave him the total. I don't exactly remember how much it was, but I knew it would be a little bit more pricey since he asked for extra topping and such. After they gave him the total, he looked over at me and just gave me a blank stare. Him, well? Me, standing there clearly confused. Him, aren't you gonna pay for it? Me, no. Him, but you said you'd be paying for our treats. Me, no. I said I'd be paying for the Starbucks, but you wanted Häagen-Dazs, so you'd be paying for it for yourself. Him, but if you have money for Starbucks, then you should have money for my ice cream. Me, I only agreed to pay for the Starbucks because I have gift card there. Him, but didn't you get like $500 for your birthday? You should have enough to buy me some things. It's not even that expensive. Well, I did receive $500 for my birthday, but I didn't bring it all with me. Only $50, and I've already spent the rest of it on the stuff for myself. Me, but just because I got that for my birthday doesn't mean that I have to spend it all on you. Him, but it would be nice of you to spend a little bit of it on me. He says that literally 15 minutes after asking me to buy him several different Fucon Pops at GameStop. Me and him kept arguing until his mom called him to say that she was outside waiting for us. He pulled out some cash and paid for his ice cream before storming off. You could imagine how aggravated I was when I saw him pay. This guy had money on him to pay for his food, but chose to have me to pay for it just because I got money for my birthday. Just to clarify, I don't mind paying for a friend depending how much it is, but I won't be paying for them every time we go out somewhere that they're expecting to bring their own money. He would still ask me once in a while if I wanted to go back to the mall with him, and I would say no and reminded him about how he acted last time. He would always say the same thing over and over to me, and that I should be more considerate of others, and it wouldn't hurt for me to give him $100 or so of my birthday money. And yes, he actually said that to me. For your information, I've actually cut contact with this guy. He was being toxic, and I decided to let him go. Well, if you consider him as a friend, I'd hate to hear how your non-friends treat you. But glad to hear that you have cut ties with this beggar. Next up, with the third story shared by u/Fat Elvis. Client's son spoiled the deal, so I'm jobless right now. I'm not getting any callbacks on my job hunt. It's all good though. I am pretty handy. I have my own truck and tool, and I do side job now and then pay for my gas and food. My mom called me up asking if I would do a side job for her friend. There's a lady she knows from church and had a pretty big water leak. And now the remediation is done, she needs someone to come back to put a sheetrock and trim it back on, tape and float the texture walls and ceiling. Typically for a job like this, I would charge her for about like $800 for labor and about $200 in materials. This would cover my trips to price it, gather the materials, and do the job. But I had some leftover material from my last job, and I cut them a family deal and told them that I would do it for $400. Also, keep in mind that the lady was loaded. The house was about 6 times the median average for the era, and they had the furniture, pool, canned curds to go with it. She agrees to the price and I start loading my truck. And then I get a call from her son who wants to go over the numbers with me. He starts off asking for the friends and family discount. I tell him he already got it. Then he wants a cash discount for no taxes, and I tell him that he already has that too. This haggling goes on for a few minutes and I don't give a single dollar. He's not happy, but I don't really care. When I get there to work, he's there, and when he sees the half-used box mud and the partial sheets of the sheetrock, he asks where they came from, and so I told him for my last job. Then starts going on and on about discount for used material, and how I promised him new materials, and how I'm ripping his mother off, who is nowhere to be seen while he's doing this. At this point, I know how this will turn out. If I do the work, he will inspect it, find flaws, then want a discount, or renegotiate the price. So, when he says he's going to get some more quotes, I just say, suits me, and I load my truck and leave. That night, my mother calls me up and wants to know why I was trying to rip off her friend by using used materials. I told her the whole story, and we both got a good laugh out of it. About 3 weeks later, she calls me up and tells me that they can't find anyone to do the work for less than $800 and would like me to come to do the work. I send word back that I'm not interested. About a week later, the lady calls me directly apologize and tells me that they have hired a guy for $800. He wanted half up front, drop off the materials, and then never came back. She just wants the holes in her walls and ceilings fixed. So I tell her it is still $400. She agrees, and I go over to the work the next day. The son is there, and I'm not in the mood for his crap. And sure enough, he starts telling his mother it's better this way because at least I won't be using scraps and used materials. At this point, I was ready to knock his block off and tell the lady there's one more condition. I get paid in full before I start. They both look at me dumbfounded, and I know it stung because she just got ripped off. When she asked why I told her it was, because I knew her son was going to try to renegotiate the deal after the work was done. He lost his crap, called me a crook, a liar, and a few other choice of words. I was right. That was exactly what he was going to do, and I called him out on it. She wanted me to do the work and was willing to pay me cash right there, but he would not let her. His pride would not allow it. He was one of those guys that have to haggle a better deal no matter what. And he could not stand it that I would never give a little. My mother told me that it took her a couple of months to find someone else to do the work. My lesson learned that was never to give a deal to a friend and family up front and go high enough so you can have little back without hurting feelings. Well, good lesson learned. If Opie just quoted them like $800 and give a $100 discount, everything would have been just fine. Moving on to the fourth story. By I was a fart. Old lady swindled me as I tried to pay for her groceries. I have lost faith in humanity. Trying to buy something as mundane as mayo or cheese at the grocery stores right now is a mission. I waited in line for 20 minutes and I was finally next in line, and thank ducking God. I knew the old lady in front of me wasn't going to be quick, but whatever, I was next. Now, this was my first time going to the store since this whole quarantine situation started, and I was not prepared. The kid at the register was done. I mean, can barely function, running on no sleep, dealing with dregs of humanity all day, kind of done. I felt so bad for him through all of this. On top of that, it was his first day. The old lady was like 70 plus years old, wearing a hand-knitted hat and a cat-covered sweater with no teeth. She seemed sweet and helpless. She handed the kid a coin purse and said, "This is all the money I have, and I don't think it's going to be enough." He asked her if she could start counting her change, and she said, "No, you do it." Okay, rude, but whatever, I offered to help count it out. It came out to only like $8, and she had about $50 worth of groceries. I asked her if she had any food stamps, to which she replied she had run out. I didn't have much money, maybe like $100 to pay for my stuff, so I offered to help pay if she removed 3 cases of Pepsi she had. She agreed. I went ahead and paid and helped her bag her stuff. I heard the kid say, "Crap, I didn't remove the soda." It was his first day and well, it was hell. I wasn't upset with him, poor guy made a mistake, but then the lady says, "Yay, I get to keep my soda." Me, wait, how did you expect to pay for all of this if you knew you didn't have enough? Old lady, someone always pays for me because they feel bad. Me, seriously? People are out of work right now and you're okay with taking advantage of people so you can have your ducking Pepsi? Now, the people behind me are screaming at her to give me the soda since I paid for it so I can get a refund. She went from a timid old lady to raging hag in 2 seconds. She starts screaming that we're trying to steal from her. I tell them that I don't want the ducking soda and she can't keep it. She needs her soda. Me, lady, you're a ducking scumbag. I'm struggling to purchase my own groceries and so is everyone else right here. And you have no shame? You just took from my children. The old lady then reaches for her walkers and then swings it at me, saying that she knows how to defend herself, and while the cashier kid is almost in tears apologizing. Another cashier grabbed her walker and escorted her out as I told her to screw off. I've never yelled at an old lady before. I tried to comfort the cashier and told him it's not his fault, he's doing his best. I feel like such a tool and I want to run that lady over with her scooter. TLDR, I just wanted some cheese, but the mean lady tricked me into buying her Pepsi. Damn, that stings! People like her are the reason why good people are afraid to help. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time!